Well, hello. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Birdie wanted to say hi and now she's gone. And now I have two other dogs that want to say hi. Welcome to the Women Who Soar, your biggest week challenge, day Tuesday. Day Tuesday, and we're going through until Thursday, right? Let's make sure I'm live in all the places. Live in all the places. How's everyone's morning going? If you are on the East Coast, how's your afternoon, early afternoon going? If you're watching live, please come in and say hello. Hello? I don't see me, so hold on. Can you see me? Okay, there I am. Come back. Okay. All right, troops. So, couple of kickoff announcements. Before we dig in. Sarah, I almost texted you a few minutes ago or messaged you a few minutes ago and asked if you wanted to be on the hot seat because I know how much you just love the hot seat. Kidding. All right, so announcements. Hi Nikisha, hi Montre, thanks so much for joining. First announcement is I want to just go through winners, what we've had so much when it comes to winners, because giveaways and stuff are fun. So our first winner was Sarah. Sarah Dickinson, you won get to be the first speaker engagement and host a workshop inside the Women Who Soar Mastermind that starts in June. So lucky you. Alongside of a few other amazing experts that are coming in. The second winner, do we have Tynesha in the house? So Tynesha won the strategy session that's focused around role-playing your discovery call, role-playing your conversation, role-playing that whole 8-step what we've been going through yesterday. And then we have a winner today. That's going to win a strategy call that's focused around building out your target audience and where to find your target audience. So I think I see your name. So Nakisha, you are the winner of the building out your target audience strategy call. Yay! Love winners. Okay. And know that for all of you, we'll coordinate and physically navigate all those things together. Keeping on the winner chicken dinner thread, we have a couple more winners coming to us. Couple more winners coming to us throughout the rest of the week. I'm saving the big wins for Wednesday and Thursday, since Thursday is our last day together in the challenge. Wednesday is a winner to the Women Who Soar Masters Community, which is a year membership. Some of you, if you're inside the membership already, then we will figure out a different win. If you're in the Masters community, though, tell everybody how cool it is to be inside that community. And then the big winner on Thursday wins a 3-month seat inside the Women Who Soar Mastermind that launches in June. And that is an $8,000 prize. Wow. Okay. So, first question out of the gate this morning is, how many meetings do we have set? How many meetings do we have set? And the second question is, how much outreach have we done? So, how many messages or videos or emails Log those. Tell me how many outreach messages have you sent? So those are the first two questions are the numbers. And then the next question is, are you ready for the meetings that you're scheduling? And inside those meetings, if you're not feeling quite ready, what are the areas that you're wanting the most support? So if you look at the meetings that you have coming up because of the outreach you've done, those meetings are really important. No matter what you call them, coffee chat, discovery call, consult, hangout, where inside that discovery call, those steps has you like triggered or like, ooh, or I don't know, what do I do? Where inside there are you still feeling like it might feel like a sales call and the sales whole thing makes you feel icky? So is it the agenda? Is it the outcome? Is it the profiling questions? Is it the summary? Is it the pitch? Is it the handling objections? Are there any of those areas that you're really feeling like you want to practice? Nice job. 30 messages and 6 meetings booked. So one of the things when it comes to meetings is because we're for whatever reason, no matter whatever the reason is, we can get on any type of call and we can treat it like it is a social interaction. And social interaction is great, right? We want people to like us, we want to get to know each other. And actually my coach, she teaches a framework around the words social selling. That's what she uses. But what I want to separate is there's a difference between getting social on a call and getting social with intent on a call. So if you find that you're staying in, it's like the friend zone versus the relationship zone. So if you find yourself staying in the friend zone, staying in the social zone, then it's very, very unlikely that that conversation is going to convert into a potential client. And that's where the rubber meets the road. That's where we shift, is when we can uncover through practice that these conversations turn into more than social hour and hangout hour and how do we just support one another hour. Um, and that's also like the major difference between these conversations and networking, right? Birdie. So if you find yourself stuck in the social hour, know that that's really normal and just be aware of it. Be aware that this is where you're at and that this is okay to be practicing. And then once you get confident enough post practice, then you'll go down the lane of really following this discovery call guide and understanding that it's not just about social hour. Okay, so I'm going to look at some of these questions that are coming in. Okay. So I'm pitching to someone who can pass along the message, but not my actual ideal client. Yeah, yeah. Great. So inside the sales and lead gen workshop, we talk a lot about building the lead pipeline and the 4 different ways that you build the lead pipeline so you can convert to sales, right? There's truly only 4 ways that you get a sale. So one of those is through outreach, one of them is through partnerships, one of them is through building your ecosystem, and then the last one is through your marketing. So if we look at that second pillar, which is partnerships, building your center of influence and building these strong partnerships can actually be quite difficult. One, because we don't think that we need to have a strategy around it, meaning we think we can build our business around referrals and around word of mouth. So many of us do that. But there's no actual strategy. There's no growth plan. There's no like tangible, I'm going to get this if I do this, um, around the word of mouth or referrals. So when we're going into a conversation with a partner, with a potential partner, someone that can share our information, we want to use the same discovery call guide. So we're going to walk through and use the same guides, use the same steps. But obviously, in the pitch is going to be for their audience versus for them to utilize themselves. So the thing with partners that can be challenging is keeping it top of mind and keeping it and creating a sense of urgency. So when doing outreach with partners, it's easier to schedule the call. It's easier to walk through the call because there's no potential for rejection, but it's also can get lost really easy because of the lack of sense of urgency on the other person's part and the inability to keep it top of mind on the other person's part. So no friction. So keeping it really, really easy for that potential partner, really easy for them to share it with their audience and for you to continue to follow up with them to see if they're actually able to send you referrals. So, the art of partnership is to build a strategy around the partner, but to also follow that same guide. So, you don't have to do anything differently. You just need to follow the same guide and start thinking about how you can put strategy around your partnership relationships. Okay. Um, Great. I'm reading. As you guys can see, I'm like responding and you have no idea what I'm responding to. Okay, so this next one is I have one meeting set for Friday. I feel prepared after watching the webinars, feeling more comfortable with presenting. So, um bring you. Bring you. Yesterday, I shared when it comes to your turn is not about formally presenting. Your turn is about bringing you. No matter what dynamic you're in, whether you're talking to a super professional CEO or you're talking to someone that's just starting their business or having a really informal conversation, bring you to these conversations. So when you get to your turn, it is not talking about these are the features and benefits of what I can bring to you. Because these are the features and the benefits and the value and the problems I solve. Those are all done during the summary. And if we skip the part around bringing in our turn, who we are, who we are, our story, that's more likely going to get people to buy from you than the features and the benefits of what you do and the problem you solve and how you help people. Okay. Um, Anyone feeling concerned about their overall pitch? Like, I'm not really sure how to pitch or when. When should I pitch? Anyone feeling that way? So, when it comes to pitching, less is more. Less is more when it comes to pitching. when you get to the point where you're like, okay, this is how you work with me. If you find yourself talking for like more than 1 or 2 minutes, they're going to go like this, right? So your pitch consists of three things: your deliverable, your time frame, and your price. And if you have multiple packages and you have multiple ways of having people work with you, either pick one or give them the range around the pricing. Pick one or give them the range. I hurt my finger. Can you guys tell? And then also remember that you don't pitch unless you 100% know that you can solve their problem. So I think somebody said yesterday and posted, like, you need to replace the word help and serve with the word sales. Like, just take the word sales out of it altogether and focus on the word, how do I serve them? How do I help them? And so that makes pitching a lot easier, because then you're not feeling like the word sale is getting in the way. Uh-oh. Okay, feel, felt, found. Okay. Can you explain feel, felt, found? Yes. So in the end of after your pitch, hopefully you're faced with engagement and you're faced with obstacles to overcome and objections to overcome. That's actually a really good sign, because if they're completely silent, that means that they're not interested. If they say yes, that's great. But a lot of times there's questions and areas of concern that we need to overcome. And that's good. We want that opportunity. Um, and so that's when we can use this feel, felt, found method. So you pick out a case study, you pick out someone that you've worked with. So think about your testimonials. Think about those people that you've worked with and think about how they feel, how they felt, and then what they found after working with you. And so when you're positioning the narrative to discuss someone's objection, instead of just trying to overcome that objection with benefit, here's the benefit, but here's the benefit, but here's the benefit. Instead of trying to overcome that with the benefit, utilizing a case study, a testimonial, someone else's personal story that person that you're talking to can relate to, based off of how they feel, how they felt, and then what they found after working with you. So this is how my client felt, or this is how my client feels, this is how they felt, and then after, this is what they found. So tying in that storyline, feel, felt, found, allows the other person to say, oh yeah, that's how I feel, that's how I felt, but I don't know, I can't find that because I haven't done that yet. So we're allowing that person to hear firsthand how someone else has felt that same way and found the answer by working with you. So it's taking a testimonial, taking that case study and using the emotions behind it, not to manipulate at all, to give them the truth. Like, this is what's happened. This is the feeling, this is the felt, because people buy emotionally. So they need that tangible of, well, let me see. Is this going to work? And are you the right person for it to work with? There's more to unpack with feel, felt, found, but that gives you the basics around it. Mm. Okay. So when we get stuck in the list, it's because we're putting too much pressure on the list. Um, Outreach is something that is ongoing week over week over week. Outreach is a rinse and repeat. And if we put too much pressure on it, it's not going to be something that we feel like we can do every single week. So, from out of the gate, if we're putting a lot of pressure on ourselves of building the right list, it's going to keep us from doing it. So, I want you to have fun with your list. I want you to have fun. It in the beginning, it's just data mining. It's just like picking and choosing and looking and hunting and pecking and building it and then sending out the message. That's the piece. Like, if I have the perfect list, then my message will convert. And the point is not to have the perfect list. The point is to just do the activity. The point is to just hit the green light and send the message. We stay in that list because we think, well, if I get it right the first time, I don't have to do it again. And the reality is outreach becomes part of your every week growth plan strategy. Like, the ultimate goal is for you one day to know, like, this is my target audience, this is the right messaging, and this is the sales process. So the ultimate goal is for you to take this and train it long term, train it to your team. But in order for you to do that, we have to do it ourselves and get really good at rinsing and repeating it. Yeah. Yeah. Um, so here's a note. I've had fun looking for people, like finding them and imagining myself working with them based on what I see. Yeah, I love that so much. Um, so I want to talk about the message a little bit. I had been asked, someone asked in one of the posts, do you track? Do you track what messages work? And the answer to that is yes. Yes, that's one of the points here is to collect the data. So, if you send out 50 messages this week and none of them work, meaning all 50, not a single soul responds to you. Inside that tells you something. That tells you that 50 messages were sent, no one responded. Is it the audience? Is it the message? Or is it not enough? Is it the volume? That's why we always go back to that Q times Q equals R formula. So we can identify and look at that data. If we send out 20 messages and we get 10 responses all telling us to hit the road, Jack, we got responses. That means someone's saying something to us, but maybe it's not the right audience. Maybe it's not the right message, right? So there's always data to collect. The best message, like, what, and help me perfect that message so I get all 25 people to respond. Yes, I want to have a meeting with you. Yeah. So, that's not realistic, but the prospecting message that I handed you guys, that script, that is the the best message script or style that has converted into meetings. So the approach there is personalized and customized. So the more personalized your message, the more directly for them the messages, the more likely you're going to get a response. Now, when you're doing really cold outreach and you're doing it to a new audience and you're doing it um and it's really cold, you can experiment with a more boilerplate message that still has those steps, but it's more generic, it's more boilerplate. So for an example, if you're on LinkedIn and you want to test both, right? So you're on LinkedIn and you want to test outreach, and experiment with both sides, customized and generic boilerplate. You can build a list of 50 um, ideal clients, 50 prospects, and you can send 50 prospects a very customized message, whether it's you, whether it's an email, whether it's writing, whether if it's a Vimeo, but very customized 50. And then you can pull a sales navigator or a co-pilot or a list from a software that's really cold, and say that list has 500 people on it. It's very hard to do a customized email with 500 people. So you're still using the same script, but it's not as customized. And you're sending those email or messages out to all 500 to see what the response rate is. So you can test that and see what response are you getting. So just to get like what I do, like this is what Dora does. So what Dora does is I have a very I have built a buyer's audience on Facebook. So over the last few years, I have a buyer's audience on Facebook. So I'm still reaching out really customized, really personalized to my ideal prospects on Facebook. Okay. But LinkedIn is a newer platform for me, where I'm building a buyer's audience and it takes a minute. So I'm doing both on LinkedIn. I'm doing cold outreach to about 600 women a month, and I'm doing very personalized outreach on LinkedIn weekly. Make sense? Um, the last piece I'll say about messaging is you can also send out what's called, I really highly recommend sending out drip campaigns. So what a drip campaign is taking that prospecting script and multiplying it by 3 or 4, meaning that you're putting together a cadence. This is what some people call email marketing. I call it a cadence. So you put together a cadence where you're touching people multiple ways over a multiple period of time. So this is not like heavily in the challenge because we are spending 7 days doing one piece, right? You're getting yourself like narrow focused on building the list, sending the message and getting the meeting. Like that's all we're doing. But when you're actually building out a whole lead gen plan, a growth plan, the sales process, and the marketing, there are avenues for you to build out that include that include a cadence where you have that list of 50, but you're touching them multiple ways with outreach over a period of time. And that can be extremely successful, is the data shows that it takes up to 16 touches before somebody will even talk to you, especially if it's cold. So I'm not saying that we build out a cadence that's 16 times that you're touching someone. um, but at least 3 to 4, right? At least 3 to 4 here and there. So um, that was information that I wasn't going to go into this week, but I just gave you. Okay, what else do we have here? Just going through. So that's is if anyone wants to share their messaging with me in here as well, I'd be happy to take a peek at your messaging. And I was so excited. I have a client that was really struggling with figuring out how to get people to convert, um, is on the meetings, they just weren't buying, right? They just weren't buying. And so and what held true once people started buying, when we looked at the data, what held true is that it was reliant on those 3 things. It was reliant on the target audience, the volume, and being able to overcome those objections, and really being able to overcome that. So, as soon as you get on the call, that's your opportunity. That's your opportunity to walk down that path to see if that is actually your client, right? And this is also work that is long-term work. It's you get short-term benefits. You can get a sale tomorrow. But what I mean by long term is that it's that you can duplicate this and build out a really strong process for your business so you can truly create a pipeline on autopilot and truly continue to get steady sales. Like that's the big aha that I'm hoping that you're having, is that, oh, poof, if I do this and I have this, then I can actually get steady sales. Like that's and imagine what it would be like if you had a really great lead gen strategy, sales process, and marketing strategy all teed up for your business. Imagine that's like, I want your mind to be blown by that. I really, really do. Because it's super exciting when that happens, when I see people get that, they get it, like the light bulb goes off. And I think that's why I'm so grateful to be in this role and to be a business coach to women like you, because I get to share the things that I love to do and that I'm really good at doing. So, when I kicked off my business and started business coaching 3 years ago, I wasn't sure how I was going to be successful. And by implementing my own process, I was successful. Now, I also needed a coach to make sure she pulled out my blocks and my blind spots, but I've been successful and really successful out of the gate because of working these processes. And I want you to own it, and I want you to own it as your own. And that is so important, that you own this as your own, that you don't say, "Well, let me just do it Dora's way and see what happens." I want you to do it your way. I want you showing up for these calls as your way, not just duplicating what somebody else is telling you to do. That's so important, because if we go into building these processes out that are going to grow your business, but if we go into it without our heart in it and just following the direction, it's not going to land where you want it to land. So that goes back to, strategy is only as good as the mindset that's leading it. So that's a good question. How has everybody's mindset been this week? Where have you gotten stuck? Has your head been telling you anything? That's a good question to ask. So I'll have you think about that too. Where have you potentially gotten stuck? One of the pre-rally conversations I had live were the power of rejection, and how to not take rejection personally. Yeah, I think that's true for all of us, all of us. And I've come to appreciate it. I've come to appreciate that my head is always going to be telling me something, and it's either going to stop me or it's going to move me forward. And that's one of the main reasons why I continue to have a coach, is because I know that my head can stop me, but my coach is going to help pull me forward if my head is keeping me stuck. Um, hmm. All right, so I'm going to read through a few of these. I've gotten stuck at where to find more potential clients outside of the emails I've already sent out. And so this is fun because this is like a mind mapping exercise. So if we're like not really sure where to go or who to get or where, there's take a whiteboard. So go get a whiteboard, and on the whiteboard, just start writing down who you want to work with, what types of businesses you want to work with, what types of people you want to work with. Just start writing down who you want to work with. You can put them on Post-it notes, whatever you want to do. And then take all of that mind mapping that you threw on a whiteboard and start saying, okay, where do they hang out? So I want to work with, give me somebody. I can't think. I want to work with painters. I'm not sure why that came into my head. Where do painters hang out? Well, painters are probably going to be painters are probably not going to be hanging out online. They're like painting houses and they're painting whatever. So these are trades, right? So now I'm thinking, okay, if I'm working with painters and working with trades, where do trades hang out? Trades probably hang out in getting referrals. So they probably hang out at like BNIs or chambers of commerce. Oh, so maybe I can go to the Chamber of Commerce website and start looking for the painters inside of those chambers of commerce. Ooh, boom, all of a sudden I have 100 painters on my list. I wonder if there's a painters association for all the painters in Ohio that I can pull up that list. Ooh, boy, yay. So the brainstorming around who's my target audience and then where do they hang out and then going and finding them. It does not have to be that hard. If all of my people are living in Facebook groups, then I'm data mining Facebook groups. If all of my people are living in high level corporate, I'm picking a few industries and I'm going to be scrubbing through that. It is scrubbing, data mining, and it's work that we don't want to do, but it's so necessary. It's so necessary. Define marketing, define lead gen and sales process. Definition of marketing is how people find you. It is inbound. Definition of lead gen and sales. It is how you find your people. And when you mold those together and you build out a beautiful strategy of both, you have a firm growth plan that's going to take you from 10, 20, 40, 60, $100,000 months. That's what it's going to do. When I share with my coaches group, when she has me share in her group, like, Dora, tell the group how you're making $100,000 months. This is the one key area that I'm doing that other people are not doing. And that's why this challenge is so important. It is. Yesterday I got to, totally going off base here. Yesterday I got to, and I'm going to go to these questions next. Yesterday I got to interview, I'm looking over here. Yesterday I got to interview this author. She wrote this book, Permission to Speak, and we got on an hour call yesterday and I interviewed her, and by the end of the call we were both in tears because we were talking about how we're boldly making an impact. And so this challenge is about doing outreach, right? It's about building a lead gen. But ultimately, the impact is women in economic power, women building their businesses so that we're not making right now 70% of women entrepreneurs are making less than $50,000 a year. Less than 2% of women entrepreneurs are making more than $1 million a year. And this challenge, yes, it's about outreach, but ultimately, like, boldly taking your torch and handing it off and having women light the torch off of you. And I have this little torch, and I want you guys to be lighting that torch off of me. I said it in my podcast yesterday that we're way followers. I'm a way follower. I follow the way of others, and I want women to follow me. So I'm always following women that are a few steps ahead of me, and I want what they have. And so same with you guys. Follow me, and like, we're just a few steps either ahead or behind, but we are lighting that torch and walking together. And ultimately, we are doing this with purpose. So we're building our businesses, and we're doing this with purpose because we want so badly to we're so passionate about truly delivering what we do, so other people can really reap the reward of that and see the results, right? So, okay, I just soapboxed there and got all emotional on you guys. So next in here, the stuck stuff. So I answered the one about mind map, whiteboard, brainstorm, go find more clients. And then the other two are pushing the send button. Okay. I used to teach like the oopsie it can be a benefit. Like, now it depends on the oopsie. Like this one time, not at band camp, but this one time I transferred a couple $1,000,000 from someone's account to another account. It was the wrong account when I was in finance. And that was a really big oopsie. And they were really not happy with that. So that's a big oopsie. But an oopsie, like using somebody's name wrong or forgetting, making the sentences wrong, like that's an oopsie that can be completely recovered. And it's okay. Like, it's totally okay. Like, it's no big deal, right? It's only a big deal if we make it a big deal. So hit the send button, even if there's an oopsie. Understanding that the whole point of sending the message is just getting someone to get piqued interest. You don't want them to buy from you over the message anyway. You just want them to like what they see enough for them to say, okay, I'm willing to talk to you. That's it. When I was helping startups really build their businesses, and myself activating markets, like going out there, CEOs, founders, people, they can't pay attention. They can't pay attention for more than 5 or 10 seconds. So there's only one thing that has to pop. And that one thing could be your subject line. That one thing could be the compliment. But you're perfecting that message because you want it that way. That's your stuff. On the other side, the person that's receiving that, they don't care. They just want to see, do they like the subject line? Was it the right timing at the right time where they saw that right compliment? Everything else is your stuff. That's it. Okay. Uh-oh. I will absolutely, Julia, I will absolutely give you feedback right after the call. I'll put some in the notes for you. You can also, Julia, DM it to me and we can do a little DM chat around it too. And then there was another message in here that talked about not doing enough. Yeah. So we have like that back and forth. It's I have to have it perfect, or I'm not doing it, or I need to just keep doing so busily, but it's not productive. So, or I'm just not doing enough, and I just feel like I'm I'm not doing enough. So mindset, right? So the mindset around that. Where have you experienced that in your life? So, if I'm being told sometime in my life that I'm not doing enough, then I'm going to put that into the instrument that's happening in my life right now. So, this instrument of doing outreach, and I've been told somewhere I'm not doing enough, it's going to play out because our experiences and our thoughts create our reality. I know, stinks. I talked about that earlier this morning. I have a client that's, really struggling with her money story, and it made me think about my money story. And so I wrote about it. And my money story is that I was raised by a single mom, and she always said, "We don't need anybody. We can take care of ourselves, and you can take care of yourself. We don't need anybody." Right? So I grew up, same thing. I can be self-sufficient. I don't need anybody. But that also meant that I have to do it all on my own, in my head, in my feelings. So if I have to do it all on my own, then I better overachieve. I better go and do more and overachieve. So that's like where my money story was rooted. So if I know that about myself, it's not like I can just flip the switch and change it. I have to practice. And that's what mindset is. It's a practice. So when I'm feeling stuck, I need to look at it, look at my thoughts, look at the experience, look at the instrument that is being placed in front of me, and walk through it. Another reason, right? We have coaches. Yeah. Yeah. So we have 2 days left of the challenge. And the biggest week yet, right, is to show you it's to show you how big you are. It's to show you that you can push these buttons, that you can take the time to focus on building out a list, building out your target audience, building out your script, building out your message when you go to bat, and how you're going to score, how you're going to go into those calls and how you're going to score. So this is work. This is big stuff. This is big work. And the result is a sale. So if you have any calls scheduled for tomorrow or today even, I'd love to hear the feedback on how those calls go tomorrow. And I really want you guys to keep this going, right? This is not I said, like, this is not like, let's send out 10 messages and I've hit my sales goal for the quarter. Right? That's not going to happen. But this is definitely like the stepping stone for you. It's totally the stepping stone for you. Okay, so I've talked enough. We're gonna have a big, big day tomorrow. So come in at noon and let me know what you've done. And yeah, I'll see everybody tomorrow at noon. Of course, there'll be winners for things. There's one of the big wins is tomorrow, actually. So you're gonna want to come in for the membership, and then the biggest win is on Thursday, right? So if you guys have questions, if you already are like, I want to figure this out and I want to work with Dora, we can talk about it, but I'll give the big announcement on Thursday. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining. Bye.